The Viking civilization is coming to Rise of Kingdoms, and I would guess 2 new commanders as well. In this video, we're going to break down everything we've been able to figure out based on the things that have been shared so far. So stick around in this video to learn exactly how you can prepare for new commanders and a new civilization in Rise of Kingdoms. Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and with our friends Rez and Cortex, we spent a bunch of time figuring out who these commanders might be and what the bonuses for the Viking civilization will be. And at the end of this video, we'll have some recommendations for you around how to prepare for the new commanders and new civilization. Let's start with these 2 commanders, because I think we've got a good beat on who they might be. So the first thing I'll do is show you a different picture here. Here's a higher quality close-up of these 2 new commanders, and we actually think this might be a father and son duo. If we're right, the 2 new commanders are Bjorn Ironside and Ragnar Lodbrok. That's our guess, and I'll put photos next to each of them. We did just a ton of image searching to try to figure out which one is which. There actually weren't that many folks with beards like this in Viking history that we could find in image searches. So this is our best guess here based on what we did find. And I'll just point out that Rise of Kingdoms has taken some liberties with the way that commanders look. Here's what Harold Sigurdsson looks like in game, and next to it, I'll include a picture of what historians think might be a more accurate representation, a perhaps most accurate representation of what he actually looked like. So I suppose Rise of Kingdoms has maybe added a few pounds, or maybe they're looking at a different historical representation. I'll tell you up front, I'm no historian, that's for sure. Now, if I had to guess, usually they're adding, with a civilization, an epic commander, and maybe a legendary commander as well. If we just look at the epic commanders, I think it is very, very obvious that we have a new epic infantry commander on the way. Why would I say that? We currently have 2 epic infantry commanders, but we have 3 epic archers. We have 3 epic cavalry commanders. So it seems really obvious to me that the new commander we're going to get, especially if you look at Viking history, is going to be an infantry commander. I'm guessing an epic that is infantry, which I think people are going to be really excited about. I think that they are going to be a conquering commander. Along with that infantry, of course, is the red talent tree up top. And so the only question is what talent tree remains: skill, mobility, or attack. And I think that any of those would be interesting. A mobility infantry commander would actually be that'd be super cool, but I think unlikely. I think that perhaps skill or attack are the most likely, and there are very few epic attack commanders. So probably conquering skill infantry might be where that's at, which is very similar to what Sun Tzu has, but the conquering tree instead of the garrison tree. That would be my guess for if we get an epic commander. Now on the front of legendary commanders, if we were to get an epic and a legendary, if we look into the gold keys and the sorts of commanders that are there, we figured out that, and when I say we, it's Rez and Cortex and I, and they did a lot of the legwork here, so I really appreciate that there is 1 infantry commander, okay, 1 archer commander in the gold keys, 1 cavalry commander, a bunch of integration gathering commanders, and then leadership commanders. I think it is highly likely that we would end up with a leadership commander, leadership, conquering, and I don't know what the other tree would be if we are getting a new legendary, just based on the fact that if we were to get a gold key commander, okay, that is legendary, then I don't know that they would disrupt the balance of all those commander types in the gold keys. Now, that's a big assumption that it would be gold key. They could add them in like they added Lu Bu, who, by the way, has not shown up anywhere since his initial release into the game. You either had to be there for the event, or I don't know, maybe one day you'll be able to get him, but currently you can't. So there could potentially be an event to release him into the game. If it's even legendary at all, I'm just guessing based on the fact that there's such a clean gap for 1 new epic infantry commander, and they could pretty easily put a new legendary into the gold keys. It's been a while. I think Mulan might be the last one we got into a gold key, so it might spice up the value of gold keys a little bit, which, by the way, if they do add a new commander to gold keys, I'm just saying I'm going to feel real good about having 3,650 of these gold keys saved up. You'll want to save gold keys. You'll want to save silver keys, assuming that there's an epic that shows up in here, which may or may not be the case. That there's a legendary that shows up in the golden chests. That's all wild speculation. I don't know. I just generally am always advocating for saving gold keys if you don't need to be spending them in case something new shows up. And I will say, to probably temper your expectations for how insane a gold key commander will be, I will say Mulan is very strong as far as gold key commanders go. She adds a lot to the open field. I will say that Martel has a lot of longevity, which is pretty cool. El Cid, I mean, he's solid, but he falls off quickly. Freddy, Caesar, Double C, like, they're fine, but not all that exciting in terms of long-term prospects. Martel really is one of the very best for long-term prospects, as is Mulan for open field. So maybe they'll add a Mulan tier legendary, but I don't think it's going to be like God tier. And even then, you just got to keep in mind that if you use universals on a gold key commander, every time you get their sculpture after that, it's going to be a wasted sculpture. I've got just an outrageous amount of gold key commander sculptures that, like, man, I feel silly having used so many universals on commanders like Charles Martel and Double C, given how many extras I have. And keep in mind, this is how many extras I have before I've even gone in and opened my 3,600 gold keys. Oh my goodness. Times were different back when I was investing in gold key commanders. Oh boy. But now let's talk about the civilization. A new civilization, I think, is absolutely going to be an infantry civilization. Why would I say that? We've already got 4 cavalry civilizations in Germany, Spain, Arabia, and Byzantium. We've already got 4 archer civilizations: Ottoman, Korea, also Britain, and China. And we've only got 3 infantry civilizations. That gives you Rome, France, and last but not least, Japan. Now, the interesting thing about the infantry civilizations is that 2 of them are giving 3% stats to all troop types, which is kind of interesting that they've done that with their infantry civilizations in particular, but also they've gone in on, the 1 stat type as well. I think that we're certainly going to get, again, infantry as the special unit. I think that 5% infantry attack would make a lot of sense. I think that because we have training speed for cavalry right over here, so it's a cavalry civilization, it has training speed. We have Britain, which is an archer civilization, and that's giving training speed. That we are definitely going to have, definitely is too strong of a word. I would like to think the infantry civilization they add is going to have 5% attack and 5% training speed. That's my guess. Now, the last skill is anybody's bet on what that could be. I'm just going to shout out a couple things that I think could be pretty cool if they did them as a bonus. I think a couple things that could be pretty cool would be, of course, skill damage or march speed. These are things we've seen before, though. I think that something like speed of rage gained could be pretty cool. I don't think they'll do counterattack or normal attack, but that's something they could do. They could do a very tiny amount of all damage, like 1 or 2% would be kind of interesting. That would benefit lots of troop types. If we just look at things that already exist as bonuses, though, I think that 5% attack, 5% training speed, and like 5% skill damage would be pretty cool. It would be a very reasonable new infantry civilization. But let's get a look at the special units. Thanks again to Stormy Reigns for putting together this infographic a long time ago. This is showing us the special units. We've got Japan, we've got France, we've got Rome in order from left to right, and then the basic unit over here. We can see here that the Legionary has increased defense by about 10 stat points over the base unit. So they've got 222 defense, whereas the base unit has 212. We can see that the Throwing Axeman has health boost, 11 more points into health. So their focus is primarily health with France, which is amazing. And we can see that attack, a lot of attack, 12 points into attack, is the focus of the samurai all the way on the left side of the screen. That's 232. That's 12 over the base of 220. So if we were just looking at this and guessing what might they do for a new civilization, we've got health, we've got defense, we've got attack. Maybe what they would do is kind of a blend of stats. Maybe a little bit of health, a little bit of attack would be pretty reasonable for a Viking civilization. Okay, that would be my guess for the special unit. A little bit of attack, a little bit of health as the extra boost on the special unit. And you got to keep in mind that the way special units work is that they count as like a tier of troop, right? When you put a tier 4 versus a tier 5 into a rally, although all the stats of the rally captain is going to apply for their research and their buffs and all that sort of stuff, the base stats of the unit still are relevant. That's what's getting modified by the rally captain, right? So it's still valuable to have a stronger special unit. It is meaningful for a rally or a garrison by a little bit, even if you're not the captain of that rally or garrison. Now, in terms of switching civilizations, if you were thinking about switching anytime soon, I would wait. Wait until the new civilization arrives and we see what it does. Right now, you're either spending 10,000 gems or you're going into the Alliance shop and you're picking up a token that will let you switch civilizations. I want to call attention to the fact, however, that if my memory serves correctly, in the past, they did give a free civilization change token when they added some new civilizations into the game. So maybe we'll be so lucky and get one again. I think it's unlikely. If I'm remembering correctly, it was just like the first time they had added civilizations. And so, you know, they were given those civilization change tokens in case you wanted to. But I'm maybe not remembering all of that correctly. What I'll just say is wait. Wait until the new civs comes out before you make a swap. And then maybe we'll get a token. Probably not, but you never know. And it just would kind of suck to switch civs and then see the new one and wish you had done that instead. The last recommendation, of course, I'm going to have for you as we await this change, we don't know when it's going to arrive, is going to be to save some number of sculptures. If you're new to the game, you should save some of those universal epic sculptures to wait and see what are these new commanders going to do, and then potentially invest. Hold on to some universal legendary commander sculptures, just in case you might want to invest in this new commander shortly after they arrive into the game. And again, you're going to need a bunch of gold stars to level them up, so hang on to some of those too if you can afford to do so. I'll be eager for your thoughts down below in the comments as to what our predictions are and how accurate you'll think they'll be. We're honestly just guessing on a lot of this stuff. We looked at a lot of pictures of who the commanders might be, so it's all kind of blurring together at this point. But if you got some other ideas for who they might be, or you found other pictures that look really compelling, I definitely would like to see those. And once the patch goes live, we'll see how accurate we were. Until next time, my friends, you have fun smashing the kingdom.